Okay, folks, I just want to thank you for coming out to another video. We're comparing another bike to the Harley Davidson Sportster S. Today we're going to be looking at the BMW R12. Just a couple highlights before we get into it any further. The biggest things that stood out to me was the amazing dual disc front brake system on this bike was very nice, and it is a shaft driven drive system on this bike. Unlike a lot of the bigger bikes that have a shaft drive, because this is so short, there's no typical chatter in the system, and it is a lot quicker to engage, a lot less lag than what you would get out of a chain or a belt drive. So let's get in and take a look at this bike and see what you guys think. If you like this video, let me know. If you have any questions, of course, tell me. If you do like this format, I'm going to continue to cover the different competitors in the Sportster range, and then we're going to move on to the Softail range, and then we're going to move on to the Touring range, and just see who's got the best bike in each of these areas. It's always going to be a bike pitted against the Harley version to see which one works out as a better option for you. That's your decision. I'm just going to give you the facts and then my opinions. So the format, real quick. Right after the intro, there's going to be 15 minutes of riding. That's 15 minutes of riding, and my thoughts as I'm riding and experiencing the bike. After that 15 minutes, if you want to skip ahead, go ahead. We're going to have the stats and opinions, the paper review of the bike, and we'll wrap it up after that. So thank you in advance for watching. I do appreciate if you get a chance to subscribe, and let's take a look at the BMW R12 versus the Harley Davidson Sportster S. So this, guys, is the BMW offering as a competitor to the Sportster. This here is the actual 917 option on the R12. Now, one advantage that we're going to point out right away as we walk around is we got dual disc brakes on the R12. It's going to be a little bit shorter, just a little tiny bit longer in appearance than what you'd have on the Sportster S. Of course, gorilla in the room is going to be the Boxster engine here. So the Boxster engine, of course, is going to be out a ways. We'll see how that does with our shifting dynamics and our braking on the other side. But I'm really digging this 917 option on here. You got your dual exhaust on this side, and you have your drive here. And guys, this is super cool here. This is a drive shaft. Wow, that's going to be very interesting dynamic on here on such a small bike. That is pretty cool. Okay, styling wise, I give it a 10. Of course, Brembo brakes. Your instrument cluster is tiny, which is fine. When you're in this size of a bike, it is fine. You don't need all that information. That kind of defeats the purpose of the bike. Now, it looks like you have GPS connection ability here, and we have our mirrors. Let's get those set up. Okay. Modes. Let's see here. SOS button. Turn signals. Here. Everything looks great. Wheel to control that. Okay. Oh wow, there's a lot of vibration to hear. Um, that is excellent. Very reminiscent of the vibration you get on the Harley. Let's go. Okay, guys. Looks like we are in neutral. Oh, let's put the kicks up. We are in now in first gear. Let's go see how this bike does. Maneuverability, I can already tell you, it has the very rounded tires. It leans really good. It turns really good. Let's go have some fun. Oh wow. Oh yeah. The suspension on here is definitely letting you know what you're riding over, but it's not harsh at all. Um, the seat cushion is a little firm for my taste, but I'm sure that that would break in over time, or you have options there. The bike is a little tall compared to the Indian. Let's put this on. We're going to go right in some traffic here for a wee bit. Man, this thing just wants to run. We're in third gear, and it's fighting. It wants to be over 50. Not even at 4,000 RPMs. The bike is definitely singing a good song. This is very strange, but for being fully exposed at almost 60 miles an hour, I am not feeling a ton of wind on my chest. This feels very comfortable. The seating position, the pegs, of course, are right under my buttocks. So my feet curl back just a little bit, but it's not uncomfortable at all. And there is no interference on this from the Boxster engine. Yeah, no, this feels good. And I have thick riding boots on. I have my Red Wings. They're very thick, and I'm having no problem operating the foot gear. These mirrors are perfect. I like them. The positioning, the size, the mirrors are excellent. Oh man, this just feels good. You know what? Let's turn around and head back the other way. We're going to jump up on the freeway. And when we come back, we're going to go into some twistier areas and see how the bike does. Bumps. Oh yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. Turn around here. That wasn't an issue at all. I could have taken that a lot faster, but it's not my bike, so want to be careful. You know, I really think that you could ride a long time. I really think that you could ride a long time on this bike. My back, you know, is not feeling any stress at all from this positioning. Yeah, those bumps, I don't know what suspension magic this is that it can give you all the feedback without the harshness, but BMW definitely did it right. Let's go through our modes here. We're on roll. Let's go to rock. Oh boy. Yeah, the responsiveness just became a lot stronger. So the modes are rock and roll. That's really cool. Rear brakes on this are very strong. We're going to hop up here on the freeway, folks, and see how this guy does. And we are showing we're a little low on gas. Let's see here. We should be okay. Hang on. And put it up in 6 and go for it. Oh yeah. So the seat on this has just a little bit of enough of a grab to your back to make you feel comfortable. And even at 80 miles an hour on the freeway, I've not been concerned about my discus sliding off. Okay, let's get going. Let's see if we can find some gas so we can keep riding. And guys, it doesn't look good for gas, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to head back to the dealership before I run into trouble. So no twisties, but I can just tell you, this thing, incredible. This would be no problem on the twisties. We'll get into the full review, specs and all that stuff in a few moments, but I will tell you just from a fun factor, a maneuverability, an overall ergonomic and comfortable without a windshield at 80 miles an hour on the freeway, I would say that this one is probably the winner so far. But we'll see what it looks like on paper. Man, I am in love with this bike. Braking is so smooth. And this bike is so comfortable. That's not something that you would think when you're looking at it, that would be what you use to describe it. But my goodness, this bike is comfortable. And the fit and finish is incredible. I love these colors. I love the textures. Not too many manufacturers pay attention to the texture as well as the color. Heel hold would be nice, but again, we're talking about a basic roadster in theory. So there are a lot of things like that that it will not have, but man.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
And if you watch my videos, you'll know that the iPhone assistant, I won't say her name, likes to interrupt frequently. She wants to be the center of attention, so please disregard any interruptions. Let's keep going. Let's go back to roll. There we go. Yep, it does get a little bit more sedate in roll than it is in rock. What a bike. Okay, folks, welcome out to the review here on the BMW R12. Let's see what this looks like on paper. Now we have a fuel capacity of 3.7 gallons and a wet running weight of only 500 pounds, which is pretty good. Now, the torque and foot-pound numbers are slightly different on whether you do this model or the R9T version of the R12, which will be slightly higher. But this bike, as I wrote it, had 81 foot-pounds of torque at 6,500 RPMs. Actually, correction, that is 6,000 RPMs. And then 95 horsepower at, correction, 6,500 RPMs. So 95 horsepower, 6,500 RPMs. That doesn't sound much compared to the bikes that we were already testing, but I will tell you that in real riding, this bike is much faster. These horsepower and torque figures are huge on this bike. The economy is the best in the bikes that we've seen so far at 55 miles per gallon, making the range 204 horsepower. Now, here's a question for you. How much do you think that this bike runs? It starts at $13,040. That's right, it comes in the cheapest. That is for the base model, not the 719 edition, which is the one pictured here, the one that I rode. That paint scheme and the little extra features that come on that starts out at $15,015. Still incredibly cheap for what you're getting. Now let's go over my opinions and my impressions while riding the bike. Fit and finish, I give it a 10. This is impeccable. As you probably heard during the riding, not only are the colors and the paint perfect, but they also have areas on the bike that have special textures, and it's just perfectly done. Stability, 1 out of 10, would be a 5, only because it's such a lightweight. It was very, very good at high speeds, mostly good over bumps. I mean, it was a great bike, but it's still a lightweight bike. Actually, correction, we're making that an 8, because come to think about it, I did go without a windshield on the freeway at 80 plus miles an hour. So yeah, we're upgrading this. It's an 8. Crosswind resistance, a 7. That handled the crosswinds very, very nicely. Sound. The sound on this bike was very good for a stock exhaust system. I loved listening to it sing. I'm going to give it a 7. Suspension on this bike was great. Again, you saw me going over bumps, all kinds of things. I'm giving it a 7. Design, the appearance, I'm going to give it an 8. I don't want to give it too high because there are some rooms for improvement on here, but it is a very well put together bike. And value, the price, even with the 719 option as pictured here to the price, it is a huge value. I'd give it an 8. Aftermarket support, this bike is not necessarily designed for having a lot of modifications available. The factory gives you a bike that you can customize while ordering it, and there's just not a huge aftermarket support for it. So, comparison, R12 HD Sportster S. The Sportster S has more torque and more horsepower, as you can see here. Everything else on the R12 just knocks it out of the park. It's not even close from price to features. And I will tell you that the R12 is a faster bike when you're riding it, and it's much more usable, and it's much more comfortable. I have no idea after riding this bike why somebody that rode this bike and a Sportster S would choose to have a Sportster S. Now, in closing, I just want to say thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Got a lot of exciting things coming up. Please let me know your thoughts on this, and please, if you get an opportunity, I really want you to go out and ride this bike. And let's do a quick thank you to the shop that provided this bike and several for my testing. That's coming up next. Hang on 1 second.
Hey guys, when you guys come out and visit this place, I think you're going to have just a blast. Stop by and see Haley, who is the marketing coordinator. She is amazing and can get you with the right person in the dealership for whatever it is that you need. Josiah is the general manager. He's extremely helpful. Stop by, shake his hand. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he's going to help you with anything that you need. The sales team, the service team, the parts team, they're all super incredible. And I can't tell you enough, this dealership is just gorgeous. As you can see from what we are showing you here, it's amazing. The layout is just super inviting. It's very well lit. It's just got a ton of product. Everything is staged beautifully. Their parts, their service department, which you'll see back there in the back, is just extremely well organized. It is clean. It is everything that you want to see in a motorcycle shop. North Colorado Power Sports. Stop in.